Okie I'm sure we've all seen this moment in one form or another. A young woman unable to handle her screaming son and resorts to shouting. This scene spawned a number of memes back in 2017, and you can still see it sometimes in the more recent years. But I wanted to peer deeper into this meme because there's a lot more to it than just a funny screaming session. See, the original scene comes from The Babadook, a horror movie grown in my home turf, Australia. The story is about a mother and her son Samuel, who you could describe as mentally challenged. At 6 years old, he still seems to be weirdly obsessed with imaginary monsters, having his mother check under his bed every night, and building weapons to defend himself. His mother, Amelia, is tired and stressed out, having taken him out of school after he brought a homemade dart gun to class, and dealing with things that go bump in the night. The final straw that broke the camel's back was when he pushed his cousin out of a treehouse and caused her to break her nose in 2 places. Of course, the little brat deserved it for making fun of his fatherless family, but the only thing adults see is an unruly child resorting to violence, leading to them driving back home and getting in the following argument. Now, what I haven't mentioned is what exactly is going bump in the night. Babadook, on the surface, is about a single parent family dealing with a horrible being who shares the same name of the movie. The Babadook possesses Amelia, resulting in poor Samuel having to protect himself as his mother tries to send him to his dearly departed father. But the Babadook is a bit more than that. See, the monster doesn't actually need to be in the movie for it to make sense. You could take him out, and the story would only need very minor adjustments to continue as a cohesive narrative. The Babadook is really only there to help visualize the actual message of the movie, a message about the violent impulses of parenthood. When we're introduced to Amelia, we can clearly see that she's not doing so well. We start the movie with her dreaming of her husband, driving her to the hospital as it is the day that their son is going to be born. A drive that unfortunately results in a car accident that takes his life. Samuel, we can see in the background, is causing all sorts of mayhem, jumping around and breaking windows. She's struggling to figure out how to handle this young lad. He's different from the other kids, much rowdier than his cousin Ruby. Samuel seems to be a constant cause for stress. Amelia is unable to sleep because of the extra care required to keep him behaved. But sometimes it's too much. Raising any kid is a difficult task. Most people have no experience dealing with children and need to learn from scratch along with their firstborn. The social difficulties that Samuel has just adds to the uncertainty of whether Amelia can look after him while maintaining her dwindling sanity. If you're a fan of true crime, you've probably watched or heard about cases of terrible parenting. I remember this one case, where a father is playing a game while their child is lying in the crib next to him. The kid starts to cry, obviously wanting something from their parents. Maybe it's hungry, maybe its diaper is full, maybe it just wants the warmth of someone it can trust. It continues to cry over and over and over again. The father's starting to get irritated, unable to do what he enjoys because of his responsibilities. So he goes up to the crib, picks up the baby, and begins to shake it. Over and over and over again. After a while, the child stops crying. In fact, it's the last sound it ever makes. This is a horrible story. As terrible as this father is, who absolutely deserves the arrest that follows shortly, this is an action made in the heat of the moment, an emotional outburst that shouldn't have happened. He most likely did not mean to cause the awful event, his judgment clouded in rage. But it doesn't change the fact that it did happen, and I wanted to share it because of its similarities to Babadook. After Amelia is possessed, we can see her start to become more and more unhinged, shouting at her own son, saying things that shouldn't be said, and becoming increasingly violent in her actions. You could say these are all the doing of the Babadook. The monster is forcing her to do these terrible things, but I think the monster has always been there, deep inside her, lurking in the shadows. The Babadook is not taking over, it's making her lose control. As much as she loves her son, she can't help but have intrusive thoughts about wanting a normal son, about wishing the accident took Samuel instead of her husband, about wanting to smash his head against a brick wall to stop the constant noise. This movie isn't about a scary monster hunting you down. It's about a depressed mother falling into the deepest recesses of her mind and letting her impulses take over. You can see this reiterated in the ending. To the joy of everyone in the audience, Samuel is able to bring back Amelia, never giving up on his mother and helping her to win the battle against the Babadook. After its defeat, it runs away to the basement and is locked away. Amelia and Samuel are able to recover and mend their broken relationship. But the Babadook is still there. Amelia occasionally goes down into the basement to satiate its hunger with worms from the garden. Amelia has to deal with this part of her for a long time. Mental illness just doesn't disappear. It's something that you have to live with, to make sure it doesn't drive you to commit any more terrible acts against yourself or the ones you love. And to answer the question, why can't you just be normal? Well, no one is truly normal. We all have something buried deep within us that affects our day-to-day, and while it may never go away, there are people around you that will look out for you. Somewhere out there, there is someone that cares for you as much as Samuel does for Amelia. Thanks for watching. If you'd like me to be possessed by the Babadook, let me know in the comments below and tell me your thoughts while you're down there. Like and subscribe for more content, let me know if there's something you'd like me to cover. I like to talk about anything that interests me. That's all I want to say. I hope you all have a good rest of your day.